This one here that we're gonna play
This
is like stupid new. Alright? Just stupid new. We're just gonna play it because what the hell, why not, right?
Right.
You guys wanna hear a stupid ass new song, right?
Yeah.
Cool. It's a little different, but it's fun.
Hey. Yeah.
We are the ones who don't know what we're fighting for. Give us a gun and send us all off to war. We are the ones who grow up in violent homes. We are the ones who don't know what's right or wrong. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. We are the ones who don't know why we're losing score. Give them a badge so they could send us to the morgue. Yeah, we are the ones who are scared to walk out the door. We are the ones who don't know what we're dying for. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest episode of I'm No Joe, your home for all things combat sports and the place where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. The views and opinions presented on the I'm No Joe channel belong solely to the person expressing them, no one else. If we say it, that means we meant it. That being said, this show does contain adult themes, adult content, and general shit that you shouldn't be letting your kids intake. Be advised, viewer discretion is recommended. Proceed at your own risk. You've been warned. If it's Thursday, we were born into war. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, to the latest episode of the I'm No Joe podcast, the show where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. Today, as like most days, we've got Golf T running behind, but he will be here eventually. He is on his way home from coaching all of them wrangled up little 7-year-old sugar-fed lunatics, so he will be here shortly. But in the meanwhile, we have got the brother Slow Bake over there on the other side of the octagon from me, as it were. How you doing this fine evening, sir?
Doing pretty good. How about you, brother?
I am here. We have got all sorts of craziness to get into for this particular episode this evening. Ye fucking ha, first and foremost, we are going back to Texas, boys and girls. Just when you thought the judges and the medical commissions in Texas could not fuck the UFC hard enough to make them stay away, Dana's bringing us back not once, but twice in the span of 2 months in a fucking row. But before we get into that ridiculous bullshit, as we like to do around here, first and foremost, I would like to take a minute or two here and do just a little bit of a recap to last weekend's holy shit action-filled event, rather. UFC 275 live from Singapore, and holy shit, was it fucking crazy. I will say, for being one of the weaker stacked pay-per-view cards, it did give us some fucking seriously notable moments that we are going to talk about here real quick. First and foremost, jumping right off at the goddamn top, I get that Jocelyn Edwards is one of Valentina and Antonina's main training partners. She is always in camp with them. She is always grinding with them, putting her on the card with those girls. I get it. Opening the card with her, with, Valentina defending on the other end of it, I get that as well. But in this situation, Jocelyn really just got fucking smacked around for 15 minutes and then strangely gifted a unanimous decision. She was outstruck. She had control time against her. She was down on all of the factors you could be down on and still somehow walked out with a unanimous decision W. So definitely some fishiness afoot, but if they're going to give it to you, take it. Props on you for walking out with the W, sweetheart, but don't hang your hat on that too fucking heavy. That being said, though, as if there was almost a little bit of resentment for ladies opening the card and not putting on a performance, Savannah Gomez Juarez comes out and says, "Hold my ponytail, let me fucking show you how we're supposed to do this." In a little over a minute and change, lays Liang Na the fuck out in a spectacular fucking fashion, almost in a "look, Jocelyn" kind of manner, if you will. Now, I'm not saying that was intentional, but it was okay for me. I giggled a little bit when I saw it. I was kind of like, oh shit. So props to fucking Juarez. That shit was fucking insane. Just a beautiful fucking crazy KO. Now, because they had to shuffle fights around because we had shit fall out like we talked about, we actually just had those two ladies fights for the early prelims. Actually, I don't know if we had the news Thursday when we talked about it. Rogerio Bontorin was hospitalized, and he and Manel Cape were actually pulled from the card. I think that actually happened Friday, now that I think about it, so we might not have actually got to mention that last weekend. I know I did say something about it in the update stream, but with all the craziness going on with the Brazilian copyright strikes going on there, I wouldn't be surprised if people missed that as well. So yeah, Bontorin and Cape got pulled from the card due to hospitalization, so everything kind of got shuffled a little bit last minute. Excuse me. bringing us into the actual prelims here. Kyung Ho Kang, man, talk about a tough son of a bitch, dude. The referee let him eat a clearly, and I don't mean suspect, I mean clearly illegal knee to a downed opponent, and did not even give him so much as time to see if he was okay. He tried to look at the referee to point out the fact that he just ate an illegal knee. His opponent realized that he had kneed him illegally and backed up and stopped. The referee stepped in between the two of them and said, "Come on, let's go fight."
Keep fighting, keep going at it.
I thought I was watching someone broadcast a video game in place of a fucking UFC event for a minute. It broke my brain in real time. Even the commentators were like, what did the referee just say? He's not even going to check on him. He's not even going to check on that man that just took an undefended, grounded knee to the dome. Nope. Let him keep on fucking going. So as if we haven't had enough trouble with controversial refereeing lately.
It was crazy how he just took the knee and kept going, though. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
A lot of other fights, you know, dudes take that knee and they can't keep going, like Aljamain Sterling. Whether he was kind of playing it off and faking it, you know, last year, or he was really, you know, kind of injured after that fact. Man, he was a tough motherfucker. He took that knee and just kept going.
That motherfucker was like, all right, well, then we're just going to keep on fucking fighting. And undoubtedly the most deserved decision win on the entire fucking card, in my opinion. That knee, and then to keep on going and outstrike Batgarel after that.
Yeah.
That tough motherfucker earned every fucking penny of his paycheck and more last week. And I don't understand how he didn't get some kind of fucking bonus for that, but he definitely got my fucking heart for it. That's for damn sure. That motherfucker had my pulse at like 350 per fucking minute going, just set it a dump. Oh man. So yeah, props like a motherfucker for Kyung Ho Kang, man. That dude is tough as fucking nails. On the other hand, though, it wasn't just the downed knee, or the knee to the downed opponent rather, that Kyung Ho Kang ate and toughed his way through. After the final bell of the third round, Batgarel threw a flying knee that landed on the side of the temple of Kyung Ho Kang, who immediately turned and looked at the referee and went, "The fucking fight is over. Are you not going to intervene?" And no, he still did not. The corner coming in is what actually got that all fucking separated. I don't know who the fuck that referee is, but I hope we never see that incompetent motherfucker in a cage anywhere ever again. That was fucking ridiculous. That being said, Brandon Allen versus Jacob Malkoun was almost exactly the fight that I thought it was going to be. There were moments on both sides where you could see, if this was a video game, you would have a little triangle symbol down in the corner to hit the fucking button. And then the next time to come around, you'd see a little square over in the corner to hit. And, you know, you're building your combos, the moments where you should be taking advantage. And neither one of them could. Like, neither one of them completely shit the bed, but moments where either of them could have taken advantage of the fight and really started to take control. It seemed like both of them were just kind of cruising on autopilot and not really in the moment, and just kind of let it slip through. I can't really argue that Allen didn't do a little bit more and earn that nod in his favor, but man, not again a fight that I would fucking hang my hat and brag about. I will say, at the end of every round, I think it was about 30-45 seconds in the end of every single round, Brandon Allen would fucking pedal to the floor, crank it up. He got a takedown in almost every round, tried a submission attempt into the end of 2 different fucking rounds. Where that energy was for the other 4 minutes and 30 seconds of each fucking round, I don't know, but I guarantee you that strategy will not do him that solid going forward. That's not a fucking employable strategy to win fights. I don't care who you're up against. So again, hang your fucking hat on that one, Brandon. Now, on the other hand, one of the cleanest backing up counter left punches we have seen, I would say possibly since Fabricio and Stipe. Just absolute Swiss clock precision. And poor Steve Garcia ends up looking at the fucking rafters, wondering what the fuck just happened. Meheshate, a minute 14 is what they called it. And that's including the time it took the referee to come in there and go, oh, let's not do any more of that. That was so fucking smooth, man. That young man has got some serious fucking potential because he never looked out of place. He never looked stressed. Even when he was moving backwards, you could tell he was calm and relaxed. And when he let that fucking counter left go, you saw Garcia just fucking crumble. Like, that was beautifully fucking done. So I am very curious to see what they do with that young man going forward. That dude at 155 pounds could make things all kinds of interesting and lightweight, in my opinion. Now, with everything jumped around, we did, however, manage to keep the same premier prelim fight here with Sungwoo Choi versus Josh Kalibao. Now, this was one of the closest fights on the entire card, in my opinion. This fight wasn't just, giving and trading. This fight was drastic and dramatic, lightning fast back and forth sways of the entire fucking fight. Wobbly legs, your ass handed to you, clean fucking shots, eating drops, back on your fucking feet, like takedown, stand up, moving and shaking. Legitimately fucking impressive, crazy fucking fight. Split decision goes to Kalibao. Could have went either way, and you really couldn't have complained about it. But this, in my opinion, is one of those fights that neither one of them have anything to be ashamed of. Both men come out of this fight earning plus to their resume, in my opinion, because that is the kind of war that shows that both of those men came to fucking battle, and they literally had to break it down to the nitty gritty to decide who got the edge up. And it came down to one judge making the factor in what I would say is arguably one of the very rare times where a split decision is actually probably right, because it was that close that it could have gone either way. But the fact that it came down to a split shows you it was fucking close, man. It was a good fucking fight, in my opinion. Now, bringing us into the main card. I get that his nose might be crooked, but his eyes work straight just fucking fine. Jack Della Maddalena. Whoo, that question mark schnoz having son of a bitch throws hands. I am telling you, 232 is what they call it officially, but that's including, once again, the save time for the referee coming in and peeling him the fuck off. Could have absolutely, in my opinion, been stopped another shot or two earlier, because that was going nowhere fast in a bad fucking way. But just absolute fucking beauty of a stoppage. And one of the best parts about it, in my opinion, was that after the fight was over, as soon as the internet was able to go and then breathe again and exhale, Adesanya posts a picture of his fucking bet slip that he had put $2,000 on Maddalena by round 1 KO, and it won him like $9,000, I think, total on his bet slip. But he had that much confidence that he dropped $2,000 on Maddalena by first round fucking KO. And props the fuck to you on a $9,000 payout for betting on your boy.
In a crazy way on how that happened too. I mean, him pulling himself out of that chokehold.
Oh my God.
He looked like he was in a bad spot with that, and then he worked his way out of it, and he goes out of it and cracks him with that body shot to drop the guy.
Yep.
And you pretty much knock him out with the body shot, because like you said, once he hit him, once he got him with that body shot and the guy dropped, it was over. It wasn't going anywhere from there.
Yeah, no, the escape itself was absolutely fucking impressive, but to see body work do the drop, It shows, man. That shit, there's a reason they say it's fucking putting money in the bank. You're paying dividend that fucking comes back to you later. It's worth it, man. Body shots, when done properly like that, clean, baby. Clean. There's everybody's favorite Mighty Mites coach. How you doing, brother?
I'm tired, man. I'm fucking tired. Them boys ran the shit out of me today. I will say that was the toughest team we've played to date. No loss, ended up in a tie, but whatever. That's soccer ends that way sometimes. That's all I'm saying. It's weird to say I coach fucking little kid soccer, but dude, I thought that first day was bad. I think I put on like 4 miles of run time on the fucking field today. They were up and down the field. It was fucking wild.
Oh, good shit. Good shit. So we are just into the main card here, talking about 275 from last weekend's shenanigans.
There were so many good shenanigans, even on the undercard.
Dude, yeah. No, we were literally right to the point where I was about to let the folks know that after we pointed out last weekend that it, depending on which Jake showed up, it was either going to be a very quick or a very long and boring fight. Well, guess what? The Jake Matthews who gives a shit showed up Saturday in Singapore, ready to do
we got
this goddamn business.
We got the Matthews shrug, so who knows which Matthews actually showed up.
Right? Yeah, no, the Jake Matthews who gives a fuck is the one that showed up in Singapore last weekend. And Fiallo did not make any part of that fucking fight easy for him, but that realistically might have been one of the best Jake Matthews performances we have seen yet. I have no faith it's going to be consistently that Jake Matthews going forward, but that Jake Matthews that we had in Singapore, that was damn good.
Dude, and that's the stuff we had talked about previously about him being, he's hot or he's cold, but he's got some flashes of fucking greatness in there. And that was one of those. If he could get that on a fucking just straight and narrow every time, he'd be fucking terrible for the welterweight division. Like a legitimate bad problem.
Yeah. No, and that's exactly why we continue, and in my opinion, will continue to rag on Jake Matthews, because when he puts his shit together and has his nose at the fucking grindstone, we get a performance from him like we saw last weekend. Calm, cool, composed, never out of breath, never out of pocket, always ready for everything that happened, real smooth in his transition. Footwork was so fucking crisp and clean. And I'm willing to bet the next time we see him in there, he's going to shit the bed and show up looking like he's had the flu for the last 93 weeks.
Yeah, until he changes that and we see like 2, 3, 4 good performances in a row, I'm in that same boat where he's probably going to shit the bed his next performance out.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I would love to be whipping a fucking Jake Matthews pennant back and forth. I really fucking would, especially based on the fucking beautiful round 2 work we saw him do against Fiallo last weekend. I would love to be flipping that fucking Jake Matthews banner, but I am more confident that he's going to shit the bed next time out than I am we'll see another performance like that next time out. And there's no reason for the inconsistency, at least that we can see from the outside. That being said, though, there was a good percentage of the audience at large paying attention that had a feeling the People's Co-Main event was going to go kind of how it went. I don't know if anybody saw it going exactly how it went, and I'm willing to bet even less people saw the aftermath coming through. What I will say is that, in my opinion, that fight reinforced almost everything we said about it last weekend. I don't care how good you were. If you take 2 years out of your prime and don't even think about doing MMA for at least 6 months of that, and then distractedly meander back into it gradually and then think you can jump right back to where you left off, it's not a factor of having to deal with quote unquote ring rust. It's a matter of that much time out of any sport and you lose a step, period. It's not about ring rust because she clearly was still in great fucking shape.
God,
She
yeah.
didn't lose her shape. What she lost was the step that she had being in rhythm with the sport so fucking closely and so connectedly for so long. 2 years off is too fucking much time. I don't care how great you are. And Joanna kind of proved that in Wiley, despite her having 2 losses in those 2 years, she still grew as a fighter. She stayed in the game. She never lost that step and she started to advance. She moved camp. She started working with Triple fucking Cringe and she started adapting her game, started piecing up the holes that she had and kept advancing and growing in the sport. Whereas Joanna literally took 8 months off and went fucking, beach hopping, did some fucking bullshit, started a couple of charities, started a couple of businesses. And look, do you? Ain't nobody fucking mad. Make that fucking money, set up your charities, set your legacy up. So when fighting is done, you're taken care of. No one's mad at that. The problem is if you try to do that in your prime, it's too little too late. We've seen it how many fucking times now?
I'll say the only thing she didn't lose was she definitely didn't lose her heart to fight because look, she was getting worked in that first fucking round, but she kept coming back and trying to put hands on her. And you know what? To her credit, she still got the heart of a fighter, but she did lose that step because she was a half step behind the whole fucking time. She wasn't a full step behind, but she was a good half step behind.
It was noticeable though. Yeah, you could see that Wiley just had the edge from the get-go. And like you said, not a full step. It wasn't like a master class. It wasn't a fucking punishment session. But for a fight of 2 former champions, 2 former belt holders, to seem that one-sided, especially considering their last fight was literally one of the greatest women's MMA and one of the single greatest title fights of any fucking gender, of any fucking time period in the UFC history, in my opinion. And then this one just seems so one-sided. It wasn't because, and I don't want this to seem as assholish as it's going to sound, but it wasn't because of the changes that Wiley has made. Yes, that played a factor in it, but the bigger factor, in my opinion, was Joanna taking 2 fucking years to go skitter around when she should have been doing gym work and piecing in her other things throughout so that it didn't interrupt the rhythm that kept her at the top. Once she disrupted her own rhythm.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. This one fight is not going to tarnish her legacy at all. Like,
no, not at all.
She held the belt longer than any other woman strawweight has. Period.
Yeah, absolutely.
She had a great fucking reign, and it was fabulous to watch. But she did the right thing by laying them down at the end. Because to be honest, she knew she was obviously not 100% in it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what cost her that half step, to be quite honest. But
I was just going to say, I think at this point, not having your heart 100% in it like that would have been enough to throw her head off, get her that fucking off rhythm. And then at that point, it's in your head the whole time. And now it just gets worse and worse until round 2, you catch a spinning back fist right to your temple and you drop like a sack of potatoes.
You know, and last week I even tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, saying, you know what, maybe she was doing the old fucking Misha Tate thing, taking some time off for herself, not just for her businesses and things like that, because you're going to do those things anyways in your time off. But I was thinking, maybe it was something to revitalize her and get her ready to go back at it again. That was obviously not the case, because it's not like she showed up as a shell of the person she was, but she definitely wasn't the person she was. But she just lost a half step somewhere. And to be honest, in where the strawweight division is and how that right now, it's basically a fucking change fest at the top. Being a half step behind, you're 3 steps back from the top. You know, so it's a rough division to be in. I'll say, to be honest, the women's strawweight division is probably one of the most exciting divisions in the UFC outside of the light heavyweight division right now.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely a whole lot of shaking up going on at the top of a lot of the divisions, but women's strawweight seems to be one of the ones with the most constant action going on right now, and I'm not fucking mad at it at all. That being said, the spinning back fist that dropped Joanna Jędrzejczyk last Saturday was officially the last one she will ever have to take because, like we said, once that fight was over, she officially laid down her gloves and retired. So hats off to you, champ. She had a hell of a fucking run, and she will absolutely be remembered for much more than just that fight. But as they say in Westeros, and now her watch has ended. So that being said, we will get to the first of the 2 title fights last weekend. Not that either one of them went without controversy, but I would say the co-main event was a little more controversial than the main event itself. 5-round hard-fought battle between Valentina Shevchenko and Taila Santos. What I will say, because it did come down to a split decision here, going in favor of the champion keeping her belt. What I will say is that a lot of the backlash that has come out since then, how do I phrase this nicely? I understand that sometimes fights can get you in your feelings, but that doesn't mean your feelings get to change the scoring criteria. Just because you have someone's back, if you do nothing with it, if you don't advance the position, if you don't threaten submission, if you don't dominantly hold the center from the top position or take the back and force the person to stay in the center of the ring from octagon control in the back position, then the position means nothing on the scoreboard. It means 0 when all things are equal. Damage over everything unless damage is equal. It's in the rule set, unified, and the older set. If you're going to complain about a split decision being close based on back taking, please, 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 please do yourself a favor and familiarize yourself with the unified rule sets of MMA, which are available for public read. Yes, Taila Santos may have spent a fair portion of that fight holding on to Valentina Shevchenko, but at no point for the vast majority of that holding time was she genuinely threatening, to the extent that I believe twice during the fight, they were stood up for no action. This wasn't a situation where Taila Santos was threatening Valentina with submissions for 25 minutes. This was a situation where when the fight went to the ground and Santos took it to the ground, and she did get it there a couple of times very well, to her credit.
Yeah.
But she didn't do shit with it. Valentina was never in 25 minutes in trouble. Close. There was some moments where it was back and forth, but Valentina was never in trouble.
You know, I'm behind that. She wasn't really ever in trouble. I will say one thing with Taila Santos, she out-scrambled the ever-living fuck out of Valentina. She made Valentina look like a fucking scrub when it came to grappling.
Yes, she made Valentina look very newbie on the ground.
And
for sure.
The scary part for that is she showed a blueprint on what to do when Valentina likes to throw her little hip toss, where she comes in hard and then goes to that fucking little hip toss. Every time she did that, Taila Santos ended up on top, except towards the end of the fight when they were both kind of gassing. Which, look, that's 25 minutes in, that's going to happen.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Still, she laid a blueprint on how to stop that from happening. If it does, how to get on top. And for Valentina, that's a really fucking bad thing, because that's been her bread and butter for a long time. And people just weren't able to figure it out. Now, the only problem I have with the scoring on this one is the way that it was actually scored.
Yes.
Like, two of the judges had it pretty fucking close. Where the split came in, I get it. It could have went either way, depending on what you were looking at.
Right.
But that other judge who lopsidedly gave it to Valentina
946
was fucked up.
Yeah.
Because it was not that fucking far apart. And as much as I love Shevchenko, she did an absolutely piss poor job in that fight. Compared to her normal, she did an absolutely piss poor job. But to see the score, that extra scorecard that they gave her with that 49-46, what the fuck was that bullshit? That dude needs to be removed, just fucking barred. Oh, wait a minute, he's not an attorney, but he still needs to be fucking removed from the judging panel. Either way, you know the fuck I'm going with this.
Right.
That shit cannot fucking happen. And it happened in some of the earlier fights too. In some of those earlier decisions where, yeah, they were fucking close. And one lopsided fucking card. What the fuck is this bullshit? We really need to do something about the judging. Like as MMA as a whole would be better for it. I'm not just talking in the UFC because it doesn't just happen in the UFC. It happens in Bellator, one fucking all over. Here we are where it fucking actually really matters. Not that it was going to change the outcome of the fight because he still had it fucking for Shevchenko.
Right.
But those rounds were not like that.
It still wasn't an accurate score of the fight.
No, it was a terribly inaccurate score. And that shit pisses me off more than anything. And I tip my cap to Santos because she did a fantastic job. We even thought she was going to get fucking train wrecked. She fucking surprised the ever-living shit out of me. To be honest, if she wins one more fight, I expect her to get another shot at the title.
Yeah, no, I don't think they do an immediate rematch, but I think if she goes out and fucking smokes somebody real fucking quick and does it looking spectacular, round one fucking stoppages of somebody, I think they give her another shot right away.
Because she obviously has the fucking grappling game to handle Shevchenko. So the only thing where she wasn't as good was on the fucking feet. And she wasn't too bad on the feet, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, and she didn't get completely fucking 10-7 on the fucking feet. It wasn't good. Valentina absolutely led the goddamn dance, but she didn't get completely fucking 10-7.
And to be honest, right now, as much as I hate to say it, and it sounds weird, because thinking about it coming to number 4, Tyler Santos, I honestly thought she doesn't fucking belong there. No, she absolutely fucking belongs up there.
Yeah, no, she proved she does.
Absolutely fucking surprised the hell out of us with
like, to be honest, give her a shot at the number 2 or number 1 contender. Let her take them out and then let her get another shot at it. Because you know what? I would love to see that fight run back just to see what Shevchenko would do differently or change and see how Santos would change and see how that plays out. Because to be honest, a run back on that fight might actually be pretty exciting. Because to be honest, as much grappling as there was, if you're not a grappling fan, it was not a fun fight for you. But for me, being a grappling fan, watching it and watching the way the positions were changing and the scrambles that were going on was fucking outstanding. It was absolutely beautiful to watch.
Yep.
So definitely one I'd love to see get run back.
Right.
Not right away, but you know, you get the point. Where
Eventually. Yeah, no. And there's a piece that I'll come back to in the news segment that I'll get to in a little bit here that actually, because of the way this played out like this, might actually make that a little bit more of a plausible thing and make sense, which is probably why it won't happen. But we'll get to it in a minute. We'll get back to that. But that being said, that will bring us to the main event for last weekend, the marquee name of the show, the banner you all came to look forward to, Glover Teixeira versus Yuri Prochazka. Light heavyweight title was on the line, and but for literally less than 30 seconds, not exaggerating, literally less than 30 seconds from Glover Teixeira getting his first ruby to put in that 205-pound strap and take home and hang on his wall. And one of the craziest, weird setup, fall into place fucking submissions come through, and Yuri Prochazka snatches Glover's neck and gets a sideways tap out with 27 seconds left in the fight. Round 5, 4 minutes, 33 seconds. And Yuri gets the tap.
Dude, that was the wildest fucking rear naked I've ever seen without having hooks or the back. It was
Right.
literally from like a fucking, it was almost a bulldog choke.
That's what I was just gonna say. He almost fucking bulldog choked him into that.
But then once he got the hand behind the head, I was like, well, it's a rear naked at this point.
He when he locked it and turned it over, and then you saw him push down. The part that fucked me up the most is that this was one of the rare occasions where, despite there being 73 guys with fucking HD cameras, 7 drones, and 9 boom arms with fucking phantoms shooting at fucking 3,000 frames per second, no one the truck could cut to was in the right spot when the actual fucking tap happened. What we saw live, I had 2 different fucking streams playing of it, and what we saw from both fucking angles was Yuri stand up and walk away. 30 seconds left in the fight. Yuri stands up from a fucking scramble and walks away. We get the replay with the angle that shows us all how it actually unfolds once it's all said and done. But talk about shitting the bed in the big moment, UFC.
Good
What
God.
the live broadcast showed was 2 guys' shoulders in canvas.
And,
Literally.
and you know what? I'm the best thing that came out of that was the goddamn ref, because he was out of position for a second, but he still caught it being out of position.
Yeah, and dove in as Yuri was standing
It
up
was
to make sure
absolutely fucking fantastic work on his part.
agreed. But
But then having to wait to see the fucking other angle. Wait, why did they stop it? Because I was like,
yeah, even the commentators went, "What happened?"
Yeah, because when the commentators can't see it and they're fucking cage side.
Right there, they're sitting literally feet from it.
Yeah, that was a really big fuck up. But like, to be honest, I get why the shot they had was there, because you didn't think it was going to end right there.
Yeah, there was no indication it was going the way that it did for
No,
damn
so
sure.
I kind
nobody
of
saw
give
that.
them I give them a slight pass, but at the same time, once they saw that happening, and that should have been an immediate cut, because you got a bunch of guys in a fucking truck with umpteen million fucking
That's what I'm
things.
saying. Somebody in the truck should have panic slapped the button that cut right to the actual good angle.
Yeah, because every one of them, oh, here's where the action is. Smack. Hit that fucking button, get that on screen for the viewers. But instead, we get, oh, let me just walk out of here. And
So
fucking fantastic fight, by the way. What an amazing
great fucking 4 or 5 3/4 round fight for what it was.
them boys. Those guys definitely earned their paychecks. Both of them knew they were in a fight at the end of it. And to be honest, that's probably one of the greatest light heavyweight fights I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Oh, yeah.
And right now,
absolutely.
that has fight of the year written all over it.
It's going to be hard to knock it out of the top 3 for damn sure.
Yeah.
So I will say, the UFC has gotten this real weird habit of anytime they go overseas, they can't figure out how to end a show. And this was even more of a weird version of that, because Dana White wasn't even at the goddamn fights. Like, he didn't put either of the fucking belts on the champions. Like, he was at a casino, literally.
Yeah, it was his son's birthday, so he's getting fucked up with his son for his 21st birthday.
Yeah.
I get that. Okay. That I can give the pass on. But he was live streaming himself with reactions.
That's what I was going to say. It wasn't the fact that he wasn't there. It's the fact that he was fucking live streaming himself. Like, you fucking goof.
Dude, if that's the case and you're supposed to be out for your son's 21st birthday, don't be live streaming yourself during that shit.
Right?
Go enjoy time with your family.
Hang out with your son. Yeah. The reason you're not at the goddamn fight. You're just watching the fight and ignoring your son to live stream yourself at his birthday party, you asshole.
You know what he probably did? He did the equivalent of here's a roll of quarters, go play in the fucking arcade, except for he probably went, here's a hooker, go take her back to the room.
Here's a bunch of fucking pretty girls. Here's some fucking bottle service, VIP in a fucking club, you know, ball out, look like a rock star for a little while. Leave me alone so I can watch these fights.
Yeah. And the only thing that made it weirder was they stayed with the commentary booth ringside for like another fucking 15 minutes.
For a long fucking time afterwards. Yeah, it got awkward. Like that end of the night, lights come on, the bartender's just staring at you with his arms crossed kind of feeling. Like, finish your drink and leave. Like, it got weird, man.
It really fucking did. Like, they really got to work on the way they end those shows overseas. And I get it. It's not home turf. It's a little bit fucking awkward. I get it. But you've been doing this for 25 fucking years now.
How many fucking shows have they done now? Yeah. Can we not figure something out to make it look less like a third grade fucking recital ending?
Yeah. Listen, you've been doing this since the fucking 90s. You should have it figured out by now.
Now, one thing I will say though, as much as I generally flip the fuck out, admittedly, when they do things like this is one of the few times where I will say, despite them not holding the quote unquote traditional bonus structure, I am okay with how they decided to end the night pay wise for the folks. There was one fight of the night, which to the surprise of fucking no one who watched, was Yuri Prohaska versus fucking Glover Teixeira. Understandably, each of those gentlemen deserved an extra $50,000 to say the fucking least. And the performance of the night bonus for UFC 275 went to every finisher on the card. Everyone who got a finish got an extra 50 grand. I'm not mad at that. If you're going to make the finish the standard for the performance bonus, and you've got a bunch of finishes, give a bunch of fucking bonuses.
Hell yeah.
Makes sense to me.
What? Look, that does two things. One, it rewards a good performance, but then it also makes people go, maybe I don't want to be a point fighter. I want to try to earn these bonuses and get those extra 50 G's in my pocket.
It
to kind of force for that
yeah.
extra fucking, it pushes the excitement of fights a little bit when those guys are actually going to be fucking going hard in the paint trying to off each other, you know?
Right. Because there's absolutely something to be said about two fighters who go in there for 15 or 25 minutes and just fucking slug it out from opening bell to closing bell, absolutely earning a fight of the night bonus. And I will never deny that. I love that they do that. But if you're going to hang that performance of the night carrot out there, and you're going to make it almost 100% contingent on having a finish to be eligible for that performance of the night bonus, when you dangle that carrot and everybody takes a goddamn bite, everybody should get some fucking carrot. So it's nice to see the UFC actually doing it when it made sense for a change, instead of just doing stupid shit for stupid shit's sake, which they do quite often as well. That being said, though, that'll bring us into our news and recent events segment here. We've got some interesting shit that has shaken down the pipe since we talked to you folks last week, to say the very least. I have got some juicy goddamn fight announcements here for you, so try and compose myself and stop playing with my nipples long enough to read this list real quick.
I'll do it for you.
I'll do it for you.
All right. So first and foremost, UFC 276 coming up in 2 fucking weeks now, July 2nd. Last minute edition that I'm not mad about in the fucking least bit. Ian Gary bringing his goofy ass back to the octagon to take on Gabe Green on a 2-week fucking fight notice. I'm fucking here for it. That boy made a damn good showing the last time we fucking saw him, so I'm fucking here to see that boy do a step back fucking counter 1-2 again. Let's get Gary back in action. I'm fucking here for it. Put him on the pay-per-view. Let's do it. July 22nd, Bellator 283. It is official as of this afternoon. Ink just got signed today. Patricky Pitbull versus Sydney Outlaw for the 155-pound belt. AJ McKee, if he does decide he's going to cry himself all the way up to lightweight because he's quote unquote done at featherweight now, is officially going to have to sit the fuck in line and wait his goddamn turn. He ruined his fucking chance to go up there and jump right into that fucking title shot. Sydney Outlaw's officially in. Sorry, bitch. Wait your fucking turn. That being said, August 6th, Brian Battle, Ultimate Fighter winner from 185, is officially making his drop down to welterweight, and they are not going to make it easy on him. They are throwing him right into the fucking deep end with Gyoti Yamauchi. It is a wrestling fucking battle for the ages. Excuse me. Wrong. I just mixed two fucking notes up. That made no goddamn sense. Brian Battle is taking on Takashi Sato. We'll get to Uchi in a minute. Brian Battle is taking on Takashi Sato. See, live things happen, folks. Takashi Sato at 170 pounds on August 6th. The Gyoti Yamauchi fight is actually against Neiman Gracie. That's the other one, the next one. On Bellator 284, it will be main eventing the August 12th card over there. See, sometimes notes get blurred. That being said, we got a pair of delicious, just nummy fucking announcements for UFC 278 going down August 20th, now confirmed in Salt Lake City, Utah. I say melancholy. The first one, I don't even know how they got there, but I'm fucking here for it. Jose Aldo and Merab Dvalishvili is officially going down on UFC 278. That's going to be a spectacular fucking fight. But the big one that everyone is fucking losing their shit over, understandably, is going to be the main event, prospectively, of UFC 278 Salt Lake City. Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards, the run back, because they did fight originally in 2015. So it is a two, is going to be headlining. So Leon is officially getting his title shot, and they're going to make him do it in Salt Lake City.
Deservedly so. Good place for him.
I think the best part about that is that in the interview that he did talking about that, when he said that when his manager told him you're going to get your title shot and you're fighting in Salt Lake City, his response to his manager is, where the hell is that?
He said that right on Aaron Helwani's show. Fucking hilarious. I don't even know where Utah is.
I don't know where Utah is. What the fuck is that?
I'm like, dude, it's, to be quite honest, it's not too far from fucking Vegas.
I was gonna say, you've been to Vegas. I'm pretty sure you've seen the map. The thing that touches the top of Nevada, that's Utah. So I don't know how that fight is going to actually shake loose. I think we're definitely going to have to wait till we get a little closer, get a little better look at both of them, because with Kamaru coming off fucking hand surgery and Leon just being a perpetual fucking clown and human shitbox, we're going to have to get a little more camera exposure on both of them as we get a little closer before we can get any idea of how that fight's actually going to shake loose. But now we know ink has been put to paper and it is dried, and we have got fight confirmed. That being said, strangely enough, we have got fight confirmed, but not date confirmed for the next one here. Ryzen is putting on another of their weird exhibition matches. This time, Mukuru Asakura will be putting on an exhibition boxing match in an MMA ring against Floyd Mayweather. For some fucking reason.
God damn it.
I'm starting to wonder if Floyd doesn't owe some money to some Yakuza fellows. It don't look good. It don't look good. I'll put it.
No, because he sure has taken a lot of weird exhibition fights lately.
And a lot of them under the Ryzen banner, which is 100% known, tied to the Yakuza. So I'm starting to wonder if Floyd might have some outstanding debts, shall we say.
Either that or they're just trying to make extra money legitly so they have a way to clean their dirty money.
Right. And Floyd's like, I like money and lattes.
Yeah, that's about it. When I saw that, I just shook my fucking head. I'm like, no, stop. This is enough.
Yeah, no, that's one of those. I had to mention it because it's so weird to see him do this. And poor fucking Tenshin Nakamura still has not recovered career-wise from doing that bullshit with Floyd. What was it, like 4 or 5 fucking years ago now? Before the Conor thing was ever even a fucking option. And Tenshin still hasn't recovered. And to his credit, Tenshin has put on some legit, genuine, great fucking 100% bona fide MMA fights and kickboxing fights since that bullshit went down. But that quadruple anime backflip knockout Floyd Mayweather landed on him just immediately put into question everything he has ever been attached to or touched, and immediately everything going forward. So he still hasn't shook the stigma from that shit. It's so weird, man. It's so fucking weird to see it happen. I had to talk about it real quick. That being said,
I want to know if they paid him enough to take a knockout. Like, how much would they have to pay Floyd to take a knockout?
at this point, considering it's an exhibition match and he just got inducted into the Hall of Fame, I bet you'd have to put 10 zeros on that check or more.
Oh, at least. Probably
Like
talking close to like 11 zeros.
That's what I was thinking. You might have to put like 10 or 11 on that bitch.
At this point, like, nope, I still haven't got a loss. Why the fuck would I add one now?
Yeah, if I'm adding if I'm getting rid of the O on my number, you're putting lots more on yours.
No, there is going to be a point where Floyd is a great defensive boxer, but eventually you keep doing this shit.
Yeah, if he keeps playing this game, you're 100% right. Somebody will find that number and they'll fucking dial it, man, because they're going to be the one to put fucking Floyd on his face. Somebody's going to do it.
And I hate to tell you, you don't get faster with age.
No, you don't. Especially when you keep fighting young Japanese men.
Just saying. It's a known fact. It's out there.
Yeah, no, we'll see.
Let's see an exhibition Butterbean. Let's do that. Butterbean's actually campaigning for a different exhibition match. Yeah, I know. I'm well aware of that.
I was going to say, we agreed through the commission that we wouldn't talk about that individual. And I will say, I would pay at least $2 to see that fight.
Oh yeah, I'd pay $3 for that if it happens.
Yeah. But that's commission vetoed, so we won't get into that. That being said, though, we got word that the UFC Paris card on September 3rd had an oh shit moment that's going to tie back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier here. We just got word that Caitlin Chukagian is officially out of the fight with Manon Fiorot, but they're keeping her on the card in Paris, which fucking makes sense as one of the few French-born fighters in the UFC. And they're having Jessica Andrade step in to the fight here. So I am not opposed to Andrade versus Manon Fiorot in Paris. That's going to be a lady striker's delight in Paris. I am absolutely okay with that being a replacement fight. And the other side of that is that now frees up Caitlin Chukagian, the number one contender in that ladies flyweight division. So potentially now we have a Caitlin Chukagian recovering from what I'm going to assume is potential injury. So she's going to need at least another month or two. And we've got a Tyler Santos who's chomping to get back at the bit, but now that she's had to undergo surgery for that orbital fracture from the clash of heads, she's going to at minimum need 8 or 10 weeks out on the sideline. So with optimistic, good vibes and positive healing thoughts and all that bullshit, prospectively, we could get both of these ladies ready to fight somewhere around, I don't know, September.
September, October would be a good time.
Right around the beginning of Q4, where we've got pay-per-view openings and all sorts of traveling opportunities or homebound opportunities. And, you know, if you just fought for the belt, but you don't quite hold that number yet, and you've still got the number one ranked contender, and now they're available, and neither one of them are getting directly at the shot, that's a pretty fucking solid, seems like make itself kind of match to me.
Yeah. And in the meantime, we can just let our champ sit on the sideline until after those two fight, and then bam, we got another fucking
Thing is chopped up, lined up, ready to go. And then in the meanwhile, once that plays out, we'll have the fucking Peña Nunez finish up. So if that gets to crack out, then we've got time to start the wheels in motion for that one. And then we've got this Santos Chukagian thing working out. And then we've got Manon Fiorot and Andrade in Paris, and everything's starting to get some momentum, and divisions don't sit fucking stagnant. And we get cool fights, you know, there's that.
yeah.
That being said, though, we got, I don't even know if we call it, would it be news and unnews? We got confirmation and then unconfirmation of the potential UFC 279 matchup for September 10th. We initially got word, I guess I should put it this way. Initially, word broke that the fight was set for UFC 279 between Aljamain Sterling and TJ Dillashaw. Then Aljamain Sterling came out like a 3-year-old on a fucking angry tummy day, low on sugar, getting drugged through a Walmart screaming, "I want candy!" That he isn't getting enough money, so he hasn't signed the contract. So there is no fight yet. And he is very matter-of-factly, and he is very temper tantrumy about this. And I am fucking done with this crybaby bitch. As if you needed more of a reason to want Aljamain Sterling to walk in front of a city bus. He literally said that now that he has the belt, if he's not going to get more money than he just signed a brand new fucking contract for, he's not going to agree to the terms of the fight. And the UFC is going to have to put him on the shelf. All the bullshit we as fans had to sit through with this cocksucker holding that fucking belt hostage after his fucking acting session in the ring to get the luckiest fucking split decision gift in keeping that motherfucker after it got him a new fucking contract, and now immediately to have the balls to say that he deserves $750,000 per fight, or the UFC is going to have to shelf him and talk to his lawyer. Are you fucking kidding me? Does someone have a stopwatch? Because I want to see how long it takes Dana to vomit the word interim title belt into the fucking void of existence once he hears the stupid bullshit Aljamain just let dribble out of his fucking mouth. It's one thing when Francis Ngannou flatlines half a fucking division and then says, "I want more money for my fights." It's another thing when you make history for being the first fighter to ever take possession of a belt via disqualification and then split decision your way to maintain it. That is not a recipe for a pay raise in the world of fighting. Motherfucker. I'm so ready to be done with Aljamain Sterling. I genuinely hope this pushes his fucking ignorance factor through the roof, and they just strip him and send him over to fucking Bellator. Just be done with it. Let him go be a PFL champion. Try for your fucking $1 million a year. We don't need the headache. Just
That's
We've
what I'm
seen
thinking.
we've seen Dana tear contracts up live before for
Dana
way worse
should-
fucking reasons.
Him saying, "Oh, just shelf me if you're not going to pay me more." Dana should just be like, "All right, fuck you, you strip him." And then it said, fucking Henry Cejudo's bitch ass wanted to come back, set that up. If you give us Dillashaw and Peter Yan, or give us Dillashaw and Cejudo.
There's a bunch of different things they could do there in the meanwhile. Yeah.
Tons of fucking. We got like you said, Divashali and Aldo are going to be fucking fighting. You got Cheeto Vera and Dominic Cruz fighting later this year.
Cruz, yeah.
That division's fucking stacked. So you want to play diva bitch when you haven't even really defended your fucking belt, and you got the belt in the bitch way in the first place. Get the fuck out of here. We don't need that shit.
Yeah. It's fucking ridiculousness, man.
Yeah, that dude's a fucking clown. Like, he's a bigger clown, in my opinion, than fucking Sugar Sean O'Malley. And that dude literally has clown fucking hair.
Right? Yeah, that motherfucker might as well have a squeaky nose.
Yeah, he's a bigger clown than fucking Sean O'Malley. And I do not like Sean O'Malley at all, period. I'll say it clean outright. Fuck that guy. But Aljamain Sterling is a bigger clown than he is. Like, the dude has no right to call for anything other than, yes, sir. No, sir. I will gladly sign that right now, sir. That's it.
Thank you for keeping me in the organization, sir. Yeah.
Thank you for not making me lick your boots.
Right. That motherfucker bothers me. But now that he's put that out there, ain't no hiding that. Ain't no deleting that fucking tweet. That one's gonna hang out there. So this one, I'm curious to see what the pond ripples, I guess would be the right way to phrase that, what the pond ripples are gonna look like from this little splash that he just dropped.
I have a feeling we're gonna see an interim.
I do as well. I think it's going to be. I have a feeling before this next, not obviously not tomorrow. I'm saying before next weekend, we've got an announcement on an interim title belt for the 35-pound division, just for fucking Aljo making that statement. I bet Dana's like, really? Cool, motherfucker. Think about that for a second. Hey, Mick, give him the green light. Like.
Yeah, and being as we do have the Aldo Merab fight coming up, that
it'd
seems
be
like
real hard to say that
in.
Doesn't deserve it. Yeah, it'd be real hard to say that Aldo versus fucking Merab doesn't deserve to be a fucking interim fight. If the fucking Sterling's gonna play this game,
look, I wouldn't be mad either, because if that fucking happened, well, he'd be like, I'm gonna vacate then because I don't want to have to fight Merab.
Cool. We'll just
And
make
to be
that
honest,
for the belt then.
That's exact. I would love to see that. Fuck you. Either that or maybe Dana goes, guess what? If Merab wins, you're fighting him next.
Right. Yeah. You have no choice. You fight Merab or you vacate.
Yep. And to be honest, that would be fucking great too. Because, fuck that.
Yeah, I'd work with that as well. Especially after he made that whole big spiel about how that would be the reason for him to move up. No.
Exactly.
You fight your fucking boy or fuck off. Like, we're not giving you the option.
And don't get me wrong, I'm ready for that Aldo Merab fight, because I bet you fucking, if they made it as an interim, just think how loud we would be hearing Merab,
right? Sarah screaming,
fucking top of his lungs. You'd hear him over a packed out fucking Wembley Stadium, man.
Right.
If it was an interim title fight, fuck.
Yeah, the only way that fight could possibly be the odder is if they move that to the Long Island card.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that would be humane to the people in the audience. I think that's probably why they had to put him in fucking Salt Lake City. They're like, we got to keep Sarah so far away from his people to give this fucking audience a chance. Oh, fucking A. But that being said, we got an interesting pair of announcements that came out within, I think within like 2 or 3 hours of each other, really. The first one was an interview that Charles Oliveira had done with Guilherme Cruz, where he confirmed and doubled down on what he had said previously, that He understands that Islam is making a lot of noise, that Dariush is making a lot of noise, that, you know, a lot of people are clamoring, that calling for him, but he has his own agenda. And what he wants to do next is fight Conor McGregor. Charles Oliveira said, I understand a fight with me is very sought after, but so is a fight with Conor McGregor. And I feel that for my legacy and my children's future, the fight with Conor McGregor makes more sense than anyone else that's clamoring right now. What I want is the fight with Conor McGregor.
I'm not mad at him. That's a big fucking payday.
I'm saying that's one of the most honest statements you will make, because he said Conor McGregor's name still carries weight, as well as the biggest financial downfall or financial windfall my fighting career will have seen so far. He understands and is willing to admit this will be the biggest paycheck I have ever had, as well as if I win legitimately, my resume will have Conor McGregor defeated by me added to it. And that carries weight, not the injury fight. To defeat Conor McGregor on your resume would carry legacy, as well as that red panty night that he also would appreciate. That honesty, his level of skill, give him the fight. Give him the goddamn fight. Fuck Michael Chandler. Let him cry on the fucking sidelines. Even more, revoke his Dana White privilege. I don't care how fucking smooth of a promo he cut. The champion has his name, and it's Charles Oliveira. He doesn't have the belt on him right now because he fucked that up, technically speaking. But the champ, I say with air quotes for those of you listening, is calling for the Conor McGregor fight. I say we make it happen.
And, you know, at this route, seeing Conor's kicking again, that's a very good, strong possibility that that's the next time we saw Oliveira.
I was going to say, and the other half of this story is just that. We got video, not word, not rumors. There's a fucking video, and I shared it in the Discord as well. There's video of Conor McGregor throwing fucking 1-2 tornado kicks at a fucking heavy bag with the leg that's got that titanium indestructible rod in it.
And he's fucking letting her rip too. He's not taking
He's not holding back. No, he's not taking it lightly. He's letting them fucking fly.
And he's literally,
which I confirmed myself last night, has not taken one single USADA test as of 2022. Not one. So as of right now, he is ineligible for at least 6 months till he gets out of competition samples coming off of that injury, because you have to have at least 6 months of samples prior to a title fight. It's in the contracts for everyone. Best case scenario right now, we would see that Conor McGregor versus Oliveira fight the end of November, beginning of December, to finish the year out literally.
Yep, and that could be a
Good luck rest of the
standalone
season.
fucking pay-per-view on its own, and it doesn't even have to be a title fight.
That would probably, at that point, they would most likely just make it the final pay-per-view of the year, as close to Christmas as they could, and then just take that fucking final pay-per-view of the year and just Old Lang Syne all over everybody. And they would. Everyone in the world would buy that motherfucker. Yeah, everyone in the world would buy that motherfucker. A Conor McGregor Christmas pay-per-view for the title again, for the fucking lightweight title again. Yeah, doesn't matter where they do it. That motherfucker will sell off the goddamn shelves.
You know what's funny about that is it's going to take a metric fuck ton for his value to wear off.
Yeah, it really will. And the
like,
funny thing is
10 fights in a row and his name is still going to carry that weight.
I was just going to say, the funny thing is that we could set this up. Oliveira could dog walk him and they would still be clamoring to set up the Tony Ferguson fight next.
Yep.
and Chandler would still be in the background going, I called him out first.
It's just a matter of time.
So, I mean, things are looking real interesting. Things are looking real interesting in the UFC, to say the least. Couple real quick ones here. We got the video this afternoon of this morning's actual transgressions. Jeremy Stevens had to shave his head and his beard completely and stand naked to make it to 156 pounds and hit the fucking weigh-in point for his fight tomorrow in the PFL.
I heard he also stood on 1 foot.
No.
I heard he shaved his head, he shaved his beard, got naked, and he stood on 1 foot to try to make weight.
No, they made him step on it.
Foot was going to help. I don't know, but that's what
I was going to say. I watched the weigh-in video. They use a digital scale, not like the UFC with the sliders. They use an actual digital scale. So they had him step onto it and step off of it like 6 times to calibrate it, and then it read out 156. Like there was no fuckery. It was legitimate, but it just goes to show that if you're willing to commit, even when things don't go right, there is always something, generally speaking, that can be done. If you got a fucking mop full of blonde goddamn hair and you're, I don't know, 0.5 pounds over the limit, I would think maybe you would go shave your goddamn head and spit in a bucket 30, 40 fucking times and come back and try and weigh in again. But, that's, just speculation, So good on Stevens.
I'm not mad at him for doing that.
Yeah, no, good on Stevens for making weight. I'm not a fucking Jeremy Stevens fan by any stretch of the imagination. He can go fuck himself. I really don't give a shit. But like I make a point of saying, credit where credit is due, regardless of how you feel about something. I wouldn't piss on him to save him if he was burning to death, but I will give him fucking credit for doing what it takes to make fucking weight, because he signed a contract, said I'll be 156 pounds tomorrow. He showed up, shaved his fucking head, shaved his fucking beard, spit in a bucket a bunch, and made 156 pounds on the fucking nuts. Good on you, sir. Good on you.
Kudos to you.
So to wrap it out here, I got a pair of kind of polar opposite retirement talk here. The first one, during an interview this week, we got confirmation directly from the horse's mouth, as it were, that a rematch holds absolutely no interest whatsoever. A title fight holds no interest whatsoever. But without question, without hesitation, tomorrow morning, waking up bright and early, rolling over, seeing it on the pillow, Ronda Rousey would sign a fight contract to come back to the UFC on the sole condition that that fight contract is for Gina Carano. Now, I'm not saying that's the most sought after fight in the world. Nobody wants to watch Amanda and Ronda twice. Nobody wants to see Holly and Amanda run that one back. There's no fucking interest in either one of those. But seeing as how Ronda has been playing the WWE game and doing the farm life bullshit and the Pokemoning and all that nonsense and being the mom and not in the actual world of combat sports for almost as long now as Gina Carano has, because she did make a brief comeback herself for a while there. They've almost both been on the sidelines about the same amount of time. Clearly, both of them still stay in somewhat decent shape. I'm not saying we make it a main event. I'm not saying we put it on a pay-per-view card. What I'm saying is if they're trying to set up a situation where you've got an Ultimate Fighter season where fighters or coaches rather don't fight, why would you not take advantage of the opportunity in a situation like this to bring back coaches who will fight and people will watch, but won't tie up the divisional rankings in the UFC? They're always talking about a way to build a Legends League. Who the fuck better to put in a women's Legends League of MMA than Gina fucking Carano and Ronda fucking Rousey. Quite literally, two of the women who put women's MMA on the actual fucking map. I would watch that fight.
Oh yeah, you don't even have to twist my fucking arm to watch that.
No, not at all. I will gladly sit down and eat popcorn while that shit goes off.
Those are literally two of the biggest pioneers of women's MMA.
Yeah. Regardless of what either one of them have done outside of the fucking cage, because there's been plenty for both of them to talk about. What both of those two women did for MMA alone, and the fact that they've both been out of it for almost the exact same amount of time, I'm not mad at that at all. I would watch that goddamn fight. Now, the sad part is that the other end of that story, or the other side of that story, as it were, is the less happy, less giggly side of it. We got official confirmation today, straight from the man himself. Zabit Magomed Sharipov has officially retired as a professional athlete, not just from MMA, but from combat sports as a whole. He is leaving the fight world. He's going to become a doctor. Hats the fuck off. This is one of those situations where he absolutely had undeniable potential, but he got himself a set of tickets to the Backstreet Boys reunion, the long haul version, as they call it, and it seriously fucked him up and continues to do so. And he made a point to mention that despite how much he wants to still be able to compete, at this point, his body physically will not let him anymore, and not at a level that he would need to, and he knows he would need to be able to compete in the UFC. So rather than just, you know, facing that mental fucking defeat as well as the physical defeat and trying and failing, he's going to do something other with his life. And you can't really be mad at somebody for wanting to help the world by becoming a doctor. So it does suck that, you know, he's not going to be punching people in the face anymore, but at the same time, the dude's going to be a fucking doctor. So,
you know what throws me on that one? And I appreciate him going to do the doctor thing.
Right.
Why is the UFC not stepping in like they did with fucking Hamza? Because
Right.
that dude had legitimate title contender, possibly even fucking becoming champ written on him.
I'm wondering if it's not more serious health wise, like, because there's a lot of rumors that he couldn't train for months because he sustained serious lung damage from his time in the reunion tour, like, and that he never regained full capacity, so that he just physically isn't capable of performing like he was able to before because of how bad it fucking got him.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's, as much as I hate to say this, money gets you really, really, really good fucking doctors. And when you have an employer like the UFC, they have a lot of money to throw at some of the best doctors you'll ever get your fucking hands on.
Right.
As much as I hate to say, it's kind of like that episode of fucking South Park, where they figure what cures AIDS? Fucking money. The same concept. Much as it's satire, it's fucking real in real life.
Kind of is, yeah.
So that's why I'm a little thrown off on why the UFC didn't at least try to fucking help him out a little bit, you know? Because the dude had amazing potential, because he'd only lost one fucking fight in his pro career.
Right. Well, and I'm wondering if maybe they did, and that's why he's been so radio silent for so long, is because he's literally just been dealing with doctor after doctor after doctor after doctor after doctor. They're bringing in somebody else, another specialist, another thing, you know, another visit, another fucking test. But at this point, you know, unfortunately, the damage is done. And in a situation with some of the long haul situations like they say that he's dealing with,
and that very well could be the case. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here, because
right,
there's some times where the UFC does some shady shit where they don't help where they should, or they release somebody and don't tell them. Right. You know, they do.
Let them go do press and then fire them when they're on the road. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it's out there knowing that there are shady players in the game. That's all. Right.
Absolutely. But that being said, That is all the news I have got over here. You have anything over there that I missed, TJ?
Yeah, but I'm not going to put it out in the way that you'd expect. I'm just going to say this. BKFC has officially lost a lot of my money. As in, I will not be buying a lot of pay-per-views from them anymore because they've literally done and gone something that I've been completely against for a very long time. So
that's why I didn't even mention that one.
If you're fucking watching, know that you lost pay-per-view money here because it ain't coming from me, motherfuckers.
Yeah, that was such a stupid fucking move. And if you look at the announcements where they made that announcement on Instagram, that comment section, oh my God, chef's kiss. The fucking the MMA community came out pants around their ankles and shit on BKFC with no shame, in full force for making that decision, as they should have. That was one of the stupidest fucking announcements.
I've never watched an event myself, and I saw that news today. I'm like, oh no, I lost respect. I'm like, dude, I've never watched. Next Mike Perry fight, I was like, yeah, I got to try to check it out, something like that. Trying to get in, the one championship. I watched the last Eagle FC event. I'm going to try to check out the next Bellator event. Just try to get into watching it more.
Right.
Keep my eyes on MMA instead of just watching UFC. But God, that was awful. I don't even want to say his fucking name. It made me happy.
We don't hear.
Yeah, we don't. We refer to him like Voldemort. We don't even say the fucking name. Yep.
That's the reason why I put it the way I did, because I don't even want to mention that.
Yeah, and that's you actually make a very good point there, is that they literally went out. I go watch last week's clip. Look in my fucking eyes and tell me I wasn't genuinely fucking excited to announce MVP versus Mike Perry. In London, MVP versus Mike fucking Perry in London, bare knuckle. And then less than a week later, they shit that bed wholeheartedly Amber Heard style and make this fucking announcement.
Dude, they straight tripped over their own dick and then fell into a pile of elephant shit face first.
Yeah, no, that was fucking stupid.
All right, moving on, please.
So that being said, that'll bring us to this week's actual reason for the season. The UFC, for some fucking reason, like we said earlier, despite being fucked repeatedly, is not only coming back to Texas once, but they're coming back to Texas twice in the span of 2 months. And this weekend is going to be the first time when we get UFC Fight Night Austin, Kattar versus Emmett. Now, we say it a lot, and I'm going to say it again because it does bear repeating. For some reason, the UFC has decided that the hangover cards, as we refer to them, the card right before a pay-per-view and right after a pay-per-view, are where they are going to squeeze in all those contractually obligated and get them out of the goddamn way fights that they have to put somewhere so that they can make contracts get fulfilled and let people get their shit on. Luckily, mixed in with a lot of those don't have a lot of implication kind of fights, we get some real interesting matchups sprinkled in to talk about for this weekend as well. The prelim card is just such a weird confetti spray of fuckery, in my opinion. Like, there's good fighters and bad matchups, there's bad fighters and good matchups, and then to round it out, we got one of, I'm going to call it probably the most anticipated premier prelim fights the UFC may have put on in 2022 so far. In Adrian Yanez getting to crack that filthy fucking mouth of Tony White Trash Kelly for the premier fucking spotlight to kick off before the main card. I'm just, my biggest problem, I think, is that the main card, is it 7 fights? Or did they cut it back to 6? I think it's 7 still. Yeah, 7 fights on the main card, right?
No, they went back to 6.
They did cut it back to 6. Okay, I was gonna say, I just refreshed it. Now it's showing 6. Okay, I was gonna say 7 fights on a fucking main card. We've had multiple cards in 2022 that were less than a dozen fights in total. So for there to be 7 fights on a fucking fight night main card, that just fucking weirdness. Now, to be fair, main card's a little more solid, but what I'm curious about with you gentlemen, what on this prelim card has got you willing to pay attention, aside from obviously that fucking Yanez versus fucking Kelly fight, because I think everybody watching this card is watching for that one. But other than that, gimme one. What do you think is going to be actually worth people paying attention to on this prelim?
Dude, my prelim pick on this one is gonna go all the way down to fucking the Eddie Weiland and Cody Stamen fight. Because Eddie Weiland, in my opinion, is overlooked so goddamn much. Don't get me wrong, Cody Stamen's not a slouch by any means, but Eddie Weiland's had a rough go of it lately, but he's still one of the more exciting fighters in the bantamweight division, in my own opinion. And to be honest, that's a fucking fantastic fight. And then, of course, you've got the Court McGee and Jeremiah Wells fight, which I'm always a Court McGee fan.
I was going to say, anytime Court's on the card, you know damn well I'm paying attention.
Yeah, so that's another one to keep your eye on. Don't get me wrong, even the fucking opening fight with Kyle Dawkins on there.
Honestly, I was a little surprised they put that as the opening fight. Like, realistically, that one could have been main card if they wanted to get froggy with it, and I wouldn't have been mad at that.
Good God, yeah, because you know his brother's going to be there in his fucking corner.
Oh, yeah. All I'm going to say, if you haven't seen it yet, I'm not going to spoil it. Just go to the UFC's Instagram page from today and look at the picture of the pictures, I should say, of the Dawkins brothers. If that doesn't get you interested in this opening fight, I don't know what will.
Yeah, for me, I mean, like I'm excited about Kyle Dawkins. Yeah, that's one. We'll see, but kind of looking towards Ricardo Ramos and Danny Chavez. Feel like that could be a decent fight. You know, definitely not one of the ones I'm more excited about. I just, right. Golf T kind of talked about the ones that we're more excited about on the prelim. So, I mean, I feel like there's some potential out of that one. And then I kind of like Jasmine Jasdovicius and Natalia Silva, just right. Because Silva, it's her debut, right? But she's like in the other promotion she's been fighting for. She's on like a 6-fight win streak.
I think she's
had a handful of submission victories in the past handful of years. So I feel like it's going to be a good test for Jasdovicius since she won on the Contender Series and since she had her debut. So, I mean, it could be an exciting chick fight. Hopefully we'll get that, Golf T named a few, and then I got a couple more. Hopefully we'll get that handful of them. But there's probably going to just be a few of them that are really exciting. Some of those snoozers, but
I will say honorable mention that I will add to this list, but not because the fight is good, but because it's a chance that you get to see DC get knocked out again. And by DC, I mean a mini DC. So there is that in the Phil Paz and Duran Win fight. So.
Absolutely. And honestly, that's the only reason I'm watching that fight is to see mini DC hopefully get laid the fuck out.
Exactly.
But actually, in that same fucking prop bet-esque honorable mention style vein, I would say my honorable mention for the prelims was actually the other ladies fight. And much like what Golf T said here, it's not for the fight itself. Both of these ladies are full-on Campbell's wrapped fucking soup cans. But for the fact that if you are a hardcore Brazilian MMA fan, this has deeper implications than watching two terrible ladies slap hands and go a lot for 15 minutes. This is actually a Shutobox versus Valetudo fight in UFC. This is literally a harken back all the way to the genuine 100% actual origins, the creation of the original Ultimate Fighting Championship concept in Brazil. The reason we have a UFC to talk about today. No exaggerations, no smart ass joking. Literally, Shutobox Valetudo fucking rivalry goes back so fucking long that it's part of the reason that the Gracies decided to create the thing that eventually became the Ultimate Fighting Championship that we talk about today from this rivalry right here, that we're going to see the strange evolution of this weekend. Again, not the fight, the relevance.
Yeah, because what you guys don't know is, if you're not familiar with that, whatever way that fight goes is going to cause more fights in Brazil.
You want to talk about a butterfly effect? Oh my God. No fucking joking. No fucking exaggerations aside. Literally, the result of that fight will have butterfly effect ramifications back in Brazil. 20 times more than what you see happen in the fucking ring or in the fucking arena. Genuinely. Yeah, so I'm not excited about that fight, but the fact that it's a legitimate Valetudo versus fucking Shutobox match in UFC means that there are more implications at stake than just who gets their hand raised after 15 potential minutes. So that being said, that's my honorable mention for the prelims. But we have got a legitimate plate full of interesting fucking fights here on this main card. So I would like to just run these down real quick, because in my opinion, these are all fucking crazy. So we're opening up with the Cuban Missile Crisis himself finally getting back to the octagon after one thing or after another, just tripping him up, trying to keep him from coming back and calling Miley again with a lovely fucking victory speech. And the problem is that he got himself roned so hard that they're bringing him back against Buff Obama. They're not giving him light work. He's got to do serious fucking fights here against Gregory Rodriguez. And, you know, Barack might have shaved his head and gotten rid of the Newports, but I tell you, he can fight.
Yeah, that's an exciting one as is. And to be honest, I have a hard time betting against the fucking Cuban Missile Crisis lately. Don't get me wrong, he did take one loss in his last 5, but that one loss did not fucking stop those last 2 W's coming in hard.
Didn't roll anything off now.
Yeah, dude. And I'm not taking anything away from Buff Obama here either, because he has not been a slouch lately either. So
no, that dude got hands.
To be honest, I think whoever wins this fight might pop themselves up into the fucking rankings and get that number 15 spot.
There very well could be a number behind the winner of this fight come Monday morning. Absolutely. Yeah, Marquez, they've been trying to push him since they got him on the fucking Soup Can series. And then every time they've actually gotten him in the cage, save for one fucking time, he's looked like a goddamn stud. So,
well,
because having a little bit
came
of time
back from
off,
that blown out shoulder.
That's what I'm saying. With him coming back after a little time off now.
After he blew that shoulder out and came back, man. Or no, it wasn't his shoulder. It was like a fucking lat or something that he
it was like I was going to say, I think it was a lat.
Yeah, I'm like, shit, people normally don't come back from, but here he comes. Yo, little fucking ice cream cone.
Ice cream. I was going to say, them ice cream cone shaped motherfuckers, man. Always problems.
Not to mention, he does some great post-fight interview work.
He really does. He does good.
Probably why I like him so goddamn much. I don't necessarily approve of his disc golfing habits, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, different strokes for different folks. Oh, but that'll roll us down into what I'm saying is probably the most slept on fight on this entire fucking card. Damir Ismagulov versus Guram Kudadladze. This is two very highly fucking touted European fucking prospects getting ready to come in and just do fucking work. Both of these gentlemen have crazy fucking potential here. I have a feeling though, it's one of those things that when you get a guy who's known for takedowns and a guy who's known for stuffing takedowns, inevitably there always comes that chance where it turns into a fucking shitty striking battle. I'm hoping against hope we don't get that, but there is a potential chance. I think it's going to get a lot more interesting. These guys are both crazy fucking scramblers, but it's not outside the realm of possibilities for it to get into that weird fucking striker match. But
every time you see grappler, it usually just ends up in a stand-up mess, especially this type of grapplers.
right, the Sambo-esque grapplers.
Yeah. So I think that's where that one's headed. And to be honest, that might be the most, in my opinion, might be the most boring fight on the main card.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's the most slept on fight on the card because it's going to be the most exciting. I want to make that very, very clear. I don't think this is going to be the barn burner that you want to glue your fucking eyes to. I think this is actually probably that one fight on the main card that they could have swapped with one of several from the prelims and not fucking been worse for wear in this situation here. What I will say though is that the next one coming up, I'm a little confuddled about this one here. On one hand, we've seen Joaquin Buckley come out when he's supposed to be the underdog and just look spectacular. On the other hand, in a couple of fights where we've seen him theoretically set up to walk out and just steamroll somebody and struggle. And this is one of those situations where, on paper, MMA math-wise, Joaquin Buckley should be able to come out and put on a fucking masterclass against Albert Duraev. The other part about this is that this is one of those situations where, sure, I think Duraev might have a chance, but then you look deeper than the surface into a fighter and you find out that he's got animal rights charges potentially being pushed against him for a video that he released of him and his roommate throwing a cat like a baseball at each other. And if you're willing to do that to an animal, I would just as soon see someone hit you in the head with a fucking bat than see you get paid to get into a fucking octagon and commit violence. There's a very specific reason why we don't say another person's name that we mentioned earlier, because if you're willing to do horrible things, you shouldn't then be able to get paid to commit violence. And this isn't a situation with Albert Duraev where we have to wonder, was it staged? Is it fucking, is it for the gram? No. Like, this is a legitimate thing. It's not been denied at all. It's a legitimate thing. So we get to a point where, aside from MMA math saying that I want to see Joaquin Buckley win this fight, we get to one of those situations where you look beyond the matchup, and on a personal level, I want to see Joaquin Buckley outdo that Impa Kasanganay knockout. I want to see him put on an ESPN Sports Center caliber highlight reel. I want Duraev unconscious in a horrible manner. I want pain inflicted on this fucking waste of human flesh.
Good God, yes. Give me a 360 tornado kick. Fucking put him out with that.
Something beautiful that just
like,
I want him
send
to hurt
him into
and
orbit.
then go to sleep.
Hit him so hard it looks like fucking Francis Ngannou hit him.
Right? Give us that Overeem-esque fucking chin slapper. Yeah.
Yeah, blow his fucking lips apart.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Give us the kind of picture-esque moment that we had at 274 with Tony Ferguson. You know, that
Right.
still shot moment. It's
Right.
such a good knockout. You got some spit show.
Freeze frame fucking movie-esque look. Yeah. No,
Turn him
I'm
into a
fucking
fucking zombie.
I'm a big dude and I'm a big fight fan, but I'm also a big animal proponent. We do a lot of work with fucking animal shelters. We raise a lot of money for animal charities. I rescued lots of animals, probably more than we should, honestly. But I'm a big animal dude. So if I find out that you mistreat animals, now I want to find your address and shit in your driveway. Like, you're already on my bad list, dude. Like, in real life, not just as a fight fan. So now I genuinely want to see Joaquin Buckley do bad things to you and get paid for it. Hopefully getting a bonus for it as well would be nice. That being said, though, fuck Albert Raya. That'll bring us to the People's Co-Main event, which is a fucking spectacular matchup this weekend. In my opinion, the People's Co-Main is better than the Co-Main event, honestly. Tim the Dirty Bird Means versus Kevin Big Mouth Holland. Aside from just being a great potential trash talking in the octagon matchup between those two, stylistically, they both just make fucking puzzle piece fit for great entertainment. They're both so fucking awkward in their striking. They both have great movement, great fucking grappling and wrestling defense. They're both great on their feet and on the ground with strikes as well as unconventional fucking methods. Elbows are dangerous from both of these fucking guys. And like I said, they're gonna talk shit to each other in that cage. I would give you any fucking prop bet in the world. They're gonna spend a good amount of time talking to each other during the goddamn fight. That's how both of them are. And then to let them get together like this, like, I'm very excited for this matchup. I think Holland being a little younger, being a little hungrier, having a little bit more competition as of late than Tim Means has, because he's had a couple of injuries and some other things holding him out a little bit more. Tim Means is always fucking dangerous. I just feel like coming into this, Kevin Holland has just the ever so slightest bit of an advantage, in my opinion. And that's not to say that Dirty Bird can't throw one of them fucking elbows and lay Big Mouth the fuck out real quick. But I'm saying going in, I think Holland has just ever so slightly the edge, in my opinion.
No, I'm inclined to think the same, because even though Kevin Holland says he is not Batman, he is not Superman, he's Black Man, I think of him like Batman for this reason. He will take a beating and keep on going and keep talking the whole time. And then when he's done, he's going to go save somebody's fucking life, because that seems to be his MO. Like, the dude is a legitimately great human being. But man, listening to him talk, the only downside to this fight, knowing that they're going to talk to each other, it's in the Moody Center. It's not at the Apex Center. So we're not going to be able to hear them fucking talking to each other, because they're going to have a full fucking force crowd there in Austin, which really sucks, because I'm here to listen to those two talk shit to each other. But we're going to miss it this week. They need to figure out a way to do mic'd up like they do in fucking football to mic these guys up.
Yeah, if you watch when the UFC, especially when we've got a situation where there's a knockout, the way that they've got the new UFC ring constructed, because it's a fucking patented process as well, there is a pair of high, what do they call them? High fidelity directional, unidirectional microphones with satellite dish focus rays crisscrossing each other, pointing directly at the ring from above. You would think that even with the crowd sounds, a pair of great microphones like that pointed down in there should be able to catch what I'm guessing is going to be very, very abundant shit talking.
Good God, yeah. And to be honest, I'm not going to be mad either way the fight goes. To be honest, this is the one that I had marked as fight of the night, to be quite honest.
Yeah, that's what I said. Honestly, for me, this fight is more exciting, at least. Maybe not more impactful, but more exciting, at least, for sure, than the co-main event. So that will bring us to the aforementioned co-main event. Postponed, rebooked due to taco-induced food poisoning the night before the goddamn fight, because a cowboy gonna do what a cowboy gonna do regardless of where he is and if he should or not. So apparently they've had someone on cowboy babysitting duty for the last week, making sure there are no questionable tacos within range, because as of Thursday evening right now, I'm knocking on cheap wood because we still have nothing threatening this fight as of now. Cowboy is supposed to be on weight. Lozon is on weight. They are keeping him away from any taquerias that might be in eyesight to make sure that everything that could potentially fuck this up is minimized as much as it can be. That being said, I still don't 100% understand why this is the co-main event. I have no problems with this fight being made whatsoever. I'm here for it. I'm definitely going to be watching and paying attention. What I don't understand is why this fight, even just over the fight before it, is the co-main event. It's not for a title. It's not for a fucking divisional ranking. It's almost essentially a fucking Legends League training wheels kit, because both of these guys are old as shit as far as UFC years are concerned. They're both literally on the back nine of their career, albeit still, fairly nice for both of them at this point. Nice cushy careers. But neither one of them are making a run for the title anytime soon. They're not threatening the division. There's no number behind either one of their names as far as I can tell. This is quite literally just one of those fights that never got made in their prime. That's going to be fun to see them make now and let both of these guys potentially make a little money and have a fun scrap. Whereas,
I feel like they're just trying to give them the gift. That's why they're giving them the co-main event. It's like a Legends gift, because whoever loses is probably going out the door. And in all honesty, even the winner of this fight should probably be going out the door too. So
both of these guys could go.
For us as fans, I'm not that excited to see it just because of that. I don't necessarily want to see Joe Lozon or Donald Cerrone leaving the UFC. Thinking about that UFC without Joe Lozon or Donald Cerrone, it's fucked up. It's a fucked up thought. So it'll be sad to see either one of them go, and probably guaranteed the one that's losing is getting the walking papers. It's going to be their last fight. So I feel like that's the only reason they gave them, especially over Holland and Means, the co-main event. It's just, it might be the last fight for the both of them. And so they're kind of letting,
I can see that.
Letting them go out on their shield, giving them
hoping,
one last hurrah kind of moment, give them a bigger spotlight. Somebody's going to lay their gloves
down,
as much as I would like to be both of their last fights, it's not going to happen that way. Cerrone said he wants to hit the 50 mark. This is going to be fight number 48.
Yeah, Cerrone's got 2 more he wants after this. Yep.
He wants 2 more. And to be honest, I'm okay with giving them to him.
Yeah, I was going to say, at this point, he's one of the few people, despite his record right now, I'll say this, even on the 5-fight fucking losing streak he's on, and a potential loss to Joe Lozon this weekend, I still would have no problem. Even on a fucking bad KO, find him 2 softball fights. Find him 2 softball matches.
Here's the thing is, even though he's losing, he's never in a boring fight. Donald Cerrone is legitimately allergic to boring fights. Like, the dude will fucking end up dying if he's in a boring fight. The truth. Lozon is the same. He's never in a boring fight either. Granted, he's got a very heavy grappling style that some people don't like, but he's never in a boring fight. So, to be honest, I love the fight. I'm mad it took this long for this fight to happen, but I'm glad it's here. Now, co-main event spot, maybe not, but the reason why it's here is because it's 2 very well-known legends of the sport at this point that it's going to sell tickets. And you know what? I get it. I'm not mad that they put it there. Does it make sense? Like, responsibly? No, but because of where the names are, yes. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, but definitely I don't see Donald Cerrone being done. I could possibly see Lozon being done, but not Cerrone, because Cerrone said, I'm going to hit the 50 mark.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like they both want to fight. Like, personally, I feel like they both want to keep fighting. I just feel like the way the UFC's been, if Lozon loses, they're going to axe him. And I feel like the way that Cerrone is, the way that he's been for the company, you know, he is a fucking legend, more so than Lozon, too. Even if he loses, like you were saying, he could take a knockout loss. And Dana probably keep him around, give him a couple more softball fights, try to give him something easy so that he can pick up a win or two before he actually goes out. You're going to let him get that record, you know, and get the 50 fights kind of thing. Hopefully get the most wins in the UFC. If he wins this week, he's got it, you know.
Well, and that's the thing, is that when they were originally supposed to fight a couple weeks back and Cowboy got fucking food poisoning, Lozon did press after they announced that Cowboy was out, and literally his complaint was, you know, I'm not mad at Cowboy. Like, it's not like he got food poisoning on fucking purpose. He said, what I'm mad at is the situation, because neither he or I are young bucks, and we both only have so much time that we physically have left to give to this sport, and this just delays that inevitable. So
yeah,
I agree. I think they both still want a couple more fights, and I'm not opposed to them both, you know, getting one or two more, but this is definitely the back nine for both of these guys. So I think this is going to be, I don't know, I'm hoping at least that the significance of this fight is not lost on them right now.
Well, and the other thing with that is they're both to that point in their careers where they finally understand that time's a fleeting thing. You only have so much of it to fucking work with. So they know if they're going to get any extras in, they got to get them in fucking now, not yesterday.
Yeah, if they go out and they get that fight of the night, they put on a big fucking war, goes to decision, they could be seeing bonuses. And then I feel like then the UFC would keep them both. Because like you guys said, neither one of them are ever in a boring fight. If we go get the fight of the night with them over Holland and Means, please everybody, you know, you see the old dudes and the legends put on a hell of a fucking show. They're going to keep them both around. They're going to give them both another fight. That's what I hope, obviously. Hope for the excitement, the optimism.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't want to see either one of them get fucking railed. I don't want to see either one of them get cut, but man, neither one of those boys like to back down either. That's the thing about this fight, is that neither one of these dudes are spring chickens, but neither one of these dudes are known to back up much until it's too late. Like, these dudes are both fucking bite your mouth guard and lean forward type of fighters. And while that does make for highlight reel knockouts, that doesn't generally make for longevity in a fucking fight career. Both of these dudes are already up there, so this could get real fucking interesting real fast for damn sure. It's not going to be a fucking boring fight, I don't think. But that being said, though, that'll bring us to the actual marquee for this evening's topic, the names on the banners, the reason for the season, if you will, the meat of the meat and potatoes in this meat and potatoes chunk of the meat and potatoes section of the show here. The names on the banner are Calvin Kattar and Josh Emmett. The main event, I'm confused about, honestly. This is one of those that I was kind of talking about earlier. This is number 7 versus number 4. So realistically, best case scenario with a spectacular knockout, Calvin Kattar goes from number 4 to number 4 because he's not beating anyone better than him, and the guys above him have almost all beaten him. Granted, Calvin looked spectacular, and we saw that fire in him definitely reignited in that Giga Chikadze fight. He wanted to prove that what happened with Max was because that was Max fucking Holloway, and that's understandable, and that's realistically very fucking sensible to me. The problem is that while he came out and did work, he still looked like the upper middle tier fighter that we have seen him be up until this point. And the issue with that isn't that he's an upper middle tier fighter, because there's a lot of great fucking fights and a lot of money to be had being in that position. The problem is that he's coming up against Josh Emmett, who is number 7, but very much a very similar story to the Calvin Kattar situation, albeit he got laid flat by Jeremy Stevens and not Max Holloway, but he still got his fucking ass handed to him right in the middle of what looked to be his surging presence, making fucking statement run, and is now having to rebuild and try and come back. And the problem is that with the featherweight division, what it is right now, we've got Max versus fucking Alex 3 fucking lined up. And if it's close, they'll do 4. You could laugh, you could shake your head, but they'll do 4. I'm telling you right now, person listening at home, shaking their head at me, they'll do a 4th fight. You could snicker, you can laugh at home. I'm telling you, they'll do it, because right now, both Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski have proven time and time and time and time and time again that they are the best 2 in this division, and not by a little bit, by leaps and fucking bounds. They are the male equivalent to Valentina Shevchenko of their division. While there might be some interesting fights, there are no close fights. There are no contested fights. There are no threatening fights for Max or Alex at this point. All of the top contenders have been beaten by one or both of them. So it's not like this fight is a number 1 contender fight. And like I said, it's 7-4. So it's not like it's a contender for the contenders fight as well. Yeah, it's fun, but there's many other fights that are fun and also a little more divisionally important that could have been made for a main event spot. I'm still going to watch it. Don't get me wrong. There's still potential for this to be very fun. These guys are going to give it their all. Both of these dudes are allergic to boring fights. They break out in punches, and I'm fucking here for it. But in terms of relevancy, this is one of the reasons we criticize the quote-unquote hangover cards so much, that this is a main event. I get that you don't have to make a whole fucking card interesting, but there's 2 fights on any card that should be interesting. 3 if you want to get technical. The premier prelim, the co-main event, and the main event, because those are the 3 that you actively push and put on posters and use promotion from the social media of the company to try and draw attention to. So why are we putting 4 and 7 when everyone above them both is locked up? I'm still going to watch it. I still think it's got potential to be fun, but even if Emmett smashes Kattar, he goes from 7 to what, 6, 5? He's not going to swap spots. Calvin wins. What? He stays 4? Like,
I think the only reason they made this fight, to be quite honest, not for Calvin Kattar, but for Josh Emmett. Because Josh Emmett's the only one who has anything to gain from this. And since our boys at the top are all kind of fucking locked up right now with other shit going on, fights already set up, not, they had to do something to keep Calvin busy. And Emmett has been chomping at the bit to get to that next level. And I'm not mad at him because he has made a good resurgence since that last fucking bad loss he had. So, to be honest, the fight makes sense. But does it make sense? No. But just solely from keep Calvin busy. And here, Emmett, here's your shot to get into the top 5. And to be honest, I think they do switch places. I don't think he's going to jump to 4, but he might jump to 5 and Calvin drops to 6. And they fucking move somebody else into the 4 slot. But it's still a weird fight. It's going to be a good fight. I'm not saying weird in like a bad way, but
right.
It's definitely not what you would expect. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't expect it as I think it's weird because it's a main event fucking card. That's like, I would expect a fight like this to be co-main event.
And I was just going to say, that's my main criticism with it. Realistically, if this was the co-main event to a big fight, even on a fucking hangover card like this, to a bigger fight, to a number 1, number 2, or like a number 1 contender, or the genuine number 1 contenders fight as the main event with this as the co, I'm in. I got no issues. I got no gripes. But this leading the dance, nah, I get wishy-washy. What do you think about this, Christian?
Well, slightly excited for this one, but I'm in agreement with you guys that it just doesn't make much sense. But really, I don't see where else they could have gone with it, because the division, not just is everybody locked up, the division is kind of muddy. Like you said, there's just those two dominant guys, is Alex and Max at the top, and then we're getting Yair and Brian. They're going to fight later. Would you even consider that a number one contenders fight? Because I don't. That's where I feel like the whole division is kind of murky, and that's where
I don't
get
either.
that feeling that this fight is just kind of. It's that fact. It's it being a main event on a fight night. If they could have made a different fight the main event, then things would be better. I don't know. Well, what other fight could they have made the main event? That's part of it. But I know there's a lot of fighters out there like Dustin Poirier. He hasn't fought this year. You know, you got Nate Diaz. But those are more names they probably want to put on a pay-per-view. So.
Right. Yeah, no, there's definitely bigger fights that could have been made for damn sure. And I don't know.
They're both tough sons of bitches. They both got some serious knockout potential. So I feel like we're going to get an exciting fight. I just feel like I agree with you guys. It doesn't make a ton of sense, because I don't see where they're going to go after the fact. Like, even if Emmett wins, because you got, I think, Korean Zombie is at number 5. So you got Kattar at 4, and then Korean Zombies at 5. And I don't think Emmett would top over Korean Zombie. So then would Zombie go up to 4, and maybe Emmett would be at 5, right? He'd just crack in the top 5. I think Kattar would go down to 6. But it's just like you keep saying, it's that hangover card. It gives you that feeling. You know, all these fights have some serious potential to be exciting.
Yeah.
But it's that, like you said, the relevancy. Where are we going to go after the fact? We might see a hell of a fucking fight in an absolute war, but it's not going to take us anywhere after the fact.
Right. But that being said, that is our breakdown for the UFC Fight Night Austin card. So first and foremost, thank you to everyone who tuned in, whether you are catching this live over on youtube.com/ImNoJoe, or you are picking it up a week later on the audio podcast. Words, see? It's a long night. Audio podcast platform of your choosing through anchor.fm/ImNoJoe. We appreciate you just the same. If you like what we do around here, make sure you are thumbs up and subscribed with your little notification doodad turned on whatever platform you are consuming this. If you don't like what we do around here, first and foremost, why are you still here this deep into a podcast you didn't enjoy? Give us a thumbs down and fuck off. We won't even dispute it. That being said, all the links for all the socials are down in the doobly-doo down below. Thank you again to our wonderful guest for popping in as well. His links are down in there as well. Catch his podcasts out on Friday as well. Links to that down there as well. If you would like to help out around here, patreon.com/ImNoJoe is the best way to do so. For as little as $1 a month, you get your name added to the thank you list at the end of every video. You get access to behind the scenes, unaired, and literal unairable footage we've got on the ImNoJoe podcast library. Shit, we just can't show the fucking public. We have to paywall it. So for $1 a month, we entertain the fuck out of you, and we let you know how much we appreciate it. That being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up for this evening. So until next time, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything, unless it's JFK's ghost coming back at that Rolling Stones concert, because Nick's got Backstreet Boys now, and then the party's over in England got caught, so they're shutting down the hall, and just
lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How do I say goodbye?